Okay, so what's the date today? Oh, I think it's December 16th of 2025. I'm gonna end this video on this note. Party poopers. Yeah. Party poopers trying to ruin stuff. I don't know what I'm gonna put on the title of this video yet. I just know that some people just have issues. Okay, so, I'm trying to work on program development with the foundation, right? There's people around that have energy, have skills, and just need more opportunity to, I don't know, expand on their creative abilities, right? So, I'm thinking to start I went next door to my neighbors, right? And I said to James, why don't we start a cooking club? Like a cooking class once a week, right? For the ones that like to cook, and for the ones that, I suppose, want to learn how to cook, right? To build in a supplemental meal program, or where people can benefit from it. First of all, that would be the first thing. I know it's only once a week. It's not, people require more food than just once a week. But it's a start in terms of building in higher protein meals, right? Because with the way the economy is going, and yada, people are not eating as well as they should be, as well as our foods that we're buying in our grocery stores are compromised. They're either fake food, which is being exposed more and more and more on the internet. Avocados, some of them are fake, right? All kinds of things are fake these days. Not to mention the additives that they put in with it, right? With the foods. But I got my mind kind of like, geared around the calorie count with the proteins and those types of things, eh? So, I went next door to talk about it, right? And I'm buying a table and some chairs, right? Just because I get the basement back, so I trying to be optimistic and positive and make it work for the time that I have it, however long that is, right? In terms of, I'm going to sell some things that we know. I definitely want to use a fabric and sew, but I can't sew everything by myself. So, I've gone over there and I've talked to a few people, mostly women, about, doing piecework and whatnot. I mean, obviously, if there's a man there that wants to sew do-rags and do piecework, I'm not stopping you, right? If you can make a bit of money, why not, Okay, so, but yesterday, this morning, I went and specifically to talk about the cooking class once a week. I think it'd be great because then you get to create other ethnic foods from different countries, if that's what the meal of the day is, let's just say, for example, right? And when I presented it to James and so on, whoever was there, right? They liked the idea. At first it was like a cooking class. Like, and I'm like, yeah, well, yada, yada, yeah, okay, so, okay. So we're like, now they're like, I'm saying, $5 a meal, $20 a month, that's one meal a week. Oh, no, that's not enough money. Food is expensive, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, yeah, that's the point. It is expensive, and that's why people aren't getting all the nutrients that they need. So, we need to find a way to build up the nutrient count, the calorie count, and where it's affordable and it makes sense for the ones that want to participate in that type of program. Start small and then expand and see what happens, right? And okay, so I'm sitting there just chilling, doing my own thing, relaxing for a minute, right? Because, under a lot of stress, right? I got, a lot of things I have to do, and, I'm hiring people to help me move things so I don't have to stress my son out because he's working all the time. And I don't have to stress out Andre to start moving things. So I hired somebody to help me move heavy lifting, whatever it is when I need it, right? To make it easy on everybody. And, I'm sitting there, having a little beer, minding my own business. I don't know. This native woman came. I guess it was her birthday. And you know what the weirdest thing about it is? Because I was thinking about the cooking class, right? And this is why I'm talking about it, because it kind of makes me uncomfortable talking about it, but I'm going to talk about it anyway. Lots of things I talk about on YouTube make me uncomfortable to talk about it, but I talk about it anyway, because it all falls in line with being in the real world, right? You know what I'm saying? So before I went there to talk about the cooking class and to give James money to buy some tables and I want 2 tables and 4 chairs. I'm going to start with that first, right? And don't forget, I'm also talking to people about, making hoodies, helping me with the X hats, right? The XG kids hats, hoodies, that kind of stuff. James is a board director now, right? For the foundation, right? So that, we can build on program development. If we decide that we like the cooking class, well, we can sell hoodies, do-rags, hats, t-shirts, track pants, whatever. They can do it in care of the foundation. Any profit can go into program development, right? So I'm going with solutions, opportunity, and goodwill, right? I'm not going to harm anybody, to hurt anybody, to cause any trouble, right? You know what I mean? I've been working on the foundation for a long time. I'm definitely trying to stay positive with my personal circumstances. It's raining. Oh my God. Oh my God. It's raining. And it's getting heavy. Oh my God. Anyway. We got James's phone number on speed dial in case we need help with something, like, immediately. All right. So okay. But before I go to talk about the cooking class, I'm thinking about birthday cakes, because, I'm thinking about the things that I'm going to take downstairs. Here, Andre's home. I'll be right back. Hold on a minute. That is recording. Yeah, hold on. Okay, so as I was saying, he went to go get some eggs and stuff. So anyway, before I went, right, I was thinking about, because I'm going to give my kids the choice to take what they want, whatever it is that I don't want, after I figure it out first, obviously, right? And then, I'll try and sell something, if I can. If I can't, then I just give it away. All right, I'm okay with that. So I'm in my head, I'm going from spot to spot to spot, and I'm like, I have cake pans, right? And beautiful cookie sheets, and this, and you got my big ass pots, and I'm already missing my pots, and I haven't even gone blind yet. And I'm like, oh, cake pans, like, one day Andre and I will be downstairs, and I'll have my cake pans down there, easy to get to. We'll make some cakes, and I'll take a cake next door, right, for an unbirthday. Just walk in with a cake and start singing happy birthday to you, right? And I'll just hand the cake to somebody, some random person, nobody special, and they'll be like, what's this? I'll be like, well, it's your unbirthday. Because I like to crack jokes when I go over there, for the most part. I'd say, I don't know, probably 85% of the time I'm cracking some kind of joke. That must be the chorny in me. So anyway, like my aunts and uncles and my mom and my grandma, everybody was cracking jokes, right? So it just comes out of nowhere. I'm cracking jokes and they're cracking jokes. Everybody's cracking jokes. So I just thought it would be a great little joke to come in with a birthday cake and just start singing happy birthday and hand somebody a birthday cake, and they'd be like, it's not my birthday. I'll be, yeah, but it's your unbirthday. Just make sure you share, right? So I was thinking about that. And then I thought about, well, if you're going to do that, like, maybe start a cooking class, right? To build in, because, I shoot the shit with James. I just put ideas onto the table in terms of what we could work on as program development, right? You know what I'm saying? And so I go over to talk about the cooking class. I gave James money to buy 2 tables, 4 chairs. That's what I want first, right? Hooked up with somebody that, gave him some money, booked him to help me move things so I don't have to stress my son out, because he's working like long hours and yada-de-yada, and I don't want to stress Andre out. It's just easier and the guy is big, so it'll go fast, right? And he need a little money, and I need a little help, so it all works out, right? And I'm just chilling for a minute. I'm just chilling for a minute. Amari just had a freaking seizure, and and yada-de-yada, and the rains are coming, and my heart's going like this, and my son's moving out, and and there's mice in the house, and there's, I don't know, I think Andre calls the rat Gerald, and we figured Kevin moved in, and God forbid if a Sally moved in up there, because if it is, that's even going to be, I don't know. So, we're cracking jokes about the stupid rat that lives in the freaking, in the roof, right? Because, right? So I'm just chilling. Okay. So this woman shows up with her, I don't know, this native woman shows up with 1 or 2 people. And she's, oh, it's my birthday. And in my mind, I'm thinking, holy crumb, I was just thinking about a birthday cake, making a birthday cake, taking it over there, and then just handing it to somebody. All right? I just thought that was kind of weird, that I should be thinking about birthday cakes, to go over, talk about building in, a cooking class so that we can kind of like supplement people's diets because they're not getting enough calories and proteins. I'm doing a video, Andre, right? Huh?
Tell you one thing.
Well, the camera's on.
And the coffee.
Oh, perfect.
2.
That's even better, so I don't have to buy. We're broke. So that's even better. Plus, I've got the brew kind. Okay, so I'm like, oh, well, that's kind of neat, right? She shows up just as I'm thinking about birthday cakes. So she doing her thing. I'm doing my thing. I'm just sitting there shooting the shit. We're talking program development. Nothing major, nothing special. And I don't know. She started getting goony with me. Like, she just started getting freaking aggressive, and I'm like, like I'm trying to get out. Like I'm sitting in a chair, minding my own business. She's bumping into me, and okay, so I moved the chair, and I just because right. And she got a little lippy with me, right? And then my buddy, I guess you could say, he like, leave her alone, like she ain't bothering you, like fuck off, go away, right? And she'd go away, and then she'd come back, right? And then I don't know, I got up out of the chair to get away from her, because she was bumbly, right? Because she's drinking, right? And she aggressive and loud, and I don't know, just whatever. So I got up out of my chair, and then she grabbed me. She fucking grabbed me like this, and then started pulling on me. And of course, people jumped up and tried to pull her off of me, but she wouldn't let go. She wouldn't let go. And they're like trying to, So I grabbed some dude that's sitting in a chair. He grabs my hand, and I just hold his hand, right? And I just stand there, frozen. Well, she's got her hand on me as everybody's trying to fucking pull her off. Sorry, boo-boo off of me. Like, literally pull her off of me. Trying to, and they're saying, let go of her, because she wouldn't let go. Like, it was weird. It was so freaking weird. And I just stood there frozen, because I didn't know what the hell was going to happen. There was nothing I could do. I couldn't move because I was kind of locked in with it, right? Because she wouldn't let go. And the ones that were trying to pull on her and trying to pull it off her hand, I don't know. Anyway, so that all got dealt with, right? They let it slide. I let it slide. It's her birthday. She's inebriated. Okay, we forgive you. Just stay over there and mind your business, right? So she goes, and I'm back where I was, basically. We're still kind of shooting the shit about program development or whatever, or just whatever, nothing fancy, right? Next thing you know, she's down on the ground. She's laying flat out. I'm being told that James is giving her a wellness check. She laid there for like 10, 15 minutes. I don't know. I didn't see what happened. I just know that she was flat out on the ground, on the floor, but that's whatever. So, okay, fine. I guess she gets up at some point. She's moving around again. Then she comes and she zones in on me again. I'm sitting on a couch, right? James is there. I'm sitting here. My buddy Muggsy is here, and so on, right? We're minding our own business, not bothering nobody. She comes zoning in on me again, and she asking me for a cigarette. And Muggsy said, go away. Leave her alone. You're mean to her. If you're going to ask her anything, ask nice. She's blind. Why are you pestering her? Like, he's telling her, why are you bothering me? I'm like blind, I'm blind when I'm old. Like, go away, you mean to her. Don't ask for a cigarette. And I'm like, oh, no, that's okay. And he says, well, then ask nice. She says, can I have a cigarette, please? I said, no problem, because I give cigarettes to people when I'm there, right? Because I know what it's like to smoke. So I'm not gonna say no to her if I'm giving to other people, right? So, okay, I give her a smoke. She goes away, right? Fine. And then time goes by, right? I'm just chilling out, cracking a few jokes here, cracking a few jokes there, whatever. Met another person that is interested in doing the hats, because I said to James, maybe in the spring or the summer, maybe we'll use the garage, because James knows how to print t-shirts. He knows how to put print on a t-shirt. I said, well, maybe in when the weather changes and gets better in the spring or the summertime, maybe we'll use the garage for making t-shirts and stuff with print. Right? He goes, oh, really? I said, yeah, well, why not? Right? It's another thing to think about. That's all it is, people, right? Just shooting the shit, brainstorming, putting things and ideas on the table, blah, 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 blah. That's the kind of stuff we were talking about. And then, Mosey says to this other dude, oh, yeah, blah, blah, blah. And the guy says, yeah, I'd be interested in helping with that. So he's taking notes now on his cell phone, taking notes in terms of these are things that might happen. These are things that can do to help generate money to build on program development so that it helps the greater collective within the group that's there. That's a lot of people over a course of a month, okay? I'm just saying. All right. From a foundation's perspective, right? Andre, I don't want to compete. Okay. So that's what we're kind of talking about now. And for whatever reason, I had to get up. I don't know, because sometimes they get, people, they get a little boisterous, right? And they, start bickering, eh? And maybe one will push or something. So I had to get up to navigate away from it, just in case somebody fell on me, right? Not because they were trying to hurt me or anything, just because, right? It's a small space. It needs to be a larger space. But besides that point, I just wanted to navigate away from the argument that was quite possibly brewing, get myself out of line of fire with, so I didn't get hurt accidentally, right? So I stood up and I was going to move away from the group. Next thing you know it, I got this thing that flies into my shoulder. It was hard. I was told it was a rock with a sock. That girl, from my understanding, from the ones that seen it, somebody put a freaking rock in a sock, gave her the sock, and then she came after me, and she fucking whacked me in between the, you know how that, right? And it whacked me right here. Oh boy. So of course everybody, right? Because, they don't, right? They're trying to protect me. So they pulled her away. I went and put myself further to the back, away from everybody, because, I'm not strong enough to manhandle people. Okay? I'm just not. Right? And so I just navigated out of the way for whoever was dealing with that situation. And then she refused to leave because they asked her to leave, but she refused. Eventually, they got her out of there. But, like why? I'm thinking birthday cakes before I even show up, right? I'm thinking program development for everybody and anybody, right? And I'm not trying to be a victim here, but I didn't do a damn thing to that woman, okay? Right? Minding my own business, gave her a smoke, right? And she basically attacked me 2 times for whatever strange reason. It was stupid. Stupid. She could have joined the cooking class. She could have taught everybody how to make bannock. That's native bread, right? Right? You know what I mean? But no, I don't know. I don't know what her issues were. But I guess that's the cost of doing business, right? Anytime you come in and you start doing something positive and you try and motivate people to be positive with you and, and dig deep into their souls and, be, creative and confident and feeling good about things and, spread the love, that kind of stuff, right? Right? There's got to be always somebody that's coming in and, I don't know, just take over the show and make you miserable so that the people around you become miserable because they're distracted away from, the positive part of things. Well, so anyway, I don't know. All that does is remind me of when I was at Gateway Place. Seriously. Gateway Place, and I had that little community garden for the kids. And that woman, unfortunately, who was native, up on the 3rd floor or 2nd floor or whatever it was that she lived on, came flying down the stairs and grabbed my sign, New Nations Unity Community Garden, with our big sunflower seeds and our little flowers and whatever it was that we planted. I planted with the kids, right, in the complex. And she kept ripping out that sign and running to the office and saying that I couldn't use that sign because I wasn't Native and I had no right to use the word nations. So now I'm at the office, the rental office, saying, no, that's a federal trademark. That's two countries coming together, Canada and the United States of America, to build on program development so that we have better communities all in all. Yada-de-ya-ya. It has nothing to do with natives. And I'd put the sign back out and she'd rip it out again.
He's an actual kid.
Yeah. Yeah, and be hollering at me and whatever. I couldn't understand that either. That just, to me, didn't, like, whatever. Right? So anyway, we'll see. We'll see if we get a little cooking class going on. That'd be great. That would. Once a week. I'd only do once a week just to start, just to test the water, see how it goes. I told them we have to keep books on it. They agree, right? You know, so because it would be foundation related. I'm pretty sure this has to do with my GST. Right now, I put 00000. I'm always waiting for that one in front of it. 1 with 6 zeros, that'd be $1 million. Remember, I had that dream. How about we leave it on this? I had that dream, and I'm still waiting for it to come true. I generated $1 million. It wasn't my money, but it was because of me that it came. That's exactly what happened. Clearly, I didn't go out and work for it all by myself. But, you know, just with the fact of what I've been doing all these years and why I started it, right? It's still doable in my mind. Yeah, I just don't have the 1 in front of the zeros yet. Right? So maybe the $1 million is coming. All we need is a 1 in front of all these zeros. And, you know, little by little, surely by surely, more and more people are showing interest in the propositions, the suggestions, whatever it is that I'm offering in terms of, well, this is what we can do, blah, 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 you know, and some are more receptive to it than others. Yeah, this is just my electronic GST filing, which is all zeros at this point. And it's just, I'm going to end it on this. As a matter of fact, I'm going to put this first and then everything else after the fact, okay? Which will be this part first. So you've seen this. And then me sitting in the kitchen on the floor, opening up a box and talking about, I don't know, maybe I did mention the cooking class with that, with the organic matters, with the few little things that I bought. That was my last shop, right? I may or may not put down the video with Amari twitching because he had a seizure, right? And because I talked about it, you know, I just think it would be maybe okay to show people exactly what we have to deal with Amari, which could be the onset of a seizure, considering that Amari just had a seizure, so that if you ever find yourself in a situation looking after or having a disabled child due to cerebral palsy, where, you know, they're prone to seizures, you don't have to try and figure it out because you've seen something in my video that, you know, you'll remember, and it will be easier for you to navigate with the professionals, the doctors, to deal with that issue, right? versus, well, what is this? Is it body spasms, or is it a seizure? Well, the doctor says we'll take a video. Oh, okay. I have a video. I don't know what it looks like yet. We'll look at it. Hopefully it's good enough for him. And depending on how it is, I'll probably add it in after I'm done with the kitchen part. And then we had the cops again back outside over there with a bunch of dogs the next day. Like, not yesterday. Yeah, it was
yesterday.
Well, it was
Yesterday?
yeah, yesterday morning. Yesterday morning. It was early in the morning. Anyway, I took a little recorder of that with the dogs all going crazy and blah, 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 blah. And I guess they were running around out there with rifles again, looking for a person named Rylee. It was a different house. What a crazy block I live on, I tell you. It was a different house. It really was. It was one of those ones over there. Right? And then I guess this, but I'm putting this first. Yeah, I'm not going to lose sight of being caring enough to care, if that makes sense, right? Because clearly that person who grabbed my arm, swung a fucking rock on me, she could have cracked my skull, right? She lucky she just got my shoulder. And for her sake, because if she would have seriously injured me, she'd be in jail right now, right? But I'm not going to let stuff like that stop me from, well, being me, first of all, right? And caring about my community. Start small, expand out, right? You know, that's what community is about, right? And, I don't know. It's just weird that I was thinking about a birthday cake that day before I showed up over there. And because of that birthday cake, that's when I started thinking, well, maybe a cooking class. And then she just happens to show up, and it's her birthday. Okay. Well, somebody was thinking about you before you even showed up. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I was thinking about you before you even showed up. I was thinking about you before I even met you. Right? So before you go off and start attacking people because maybe you're having a bad day or whatever the hell your issues are, you should really stop and think twice about that. If you've got that kind of personality. That's what I'm saying. Okay, so between all those little clips, I think this video is long enough.
Okay, hey people, so I'm pretty new to show you. The door is getting more broken. This piece here, we had to tape it up, but tape's not working. You can almost stick your whole hand out there, almost. But yeah, Mrs. Gill's not doing nothing about this, because I don't know why. And then we saw it broken downstairs. That sucks. Oh, by the way, it's November 30th. Oh yeah, and then also I had to do some work out here. I drilled up this thing, but we need to put a new piece of wood underneath it because the old one is kind of busted. But yeah, we drilled. Well, I drilled a couple of screws in. We also drilled some right about there. And yeah, but most of these things more important. Like, dang it. You can stick 4 fingers right there.
Okay, December 1st, 2025. about 9:30 in the morning. This beeping and honking and grinding, and it had been going on for already a couple of hours. I swear I'm getting sick with this noise. Can you hear how loud it is? I don't know what they're doing. I really can't see. I don't know where they're grinding this time. It sounds like it's right in front of my house. Somewhere right over there. Behind this white vehicle. Right? They're grinding on the road now. Right? Can you see what's going on here? Look. What is that? Dump truck over there? That's a dump truck. From what I can tell. I got like a headache. I've had a headache now honestly for a couple of weeks. With my eyes getting worse and worse and worse. Right? Why is there a dump truck? Why are they? I thought they were done out here. I thought they were done. Why are they back? They were going that way, and now they're right there.
In private, they stepped away, voices low. I could not hear the words, only the tones. He's skeptical, then intrigued. Hers firm, then coaxing. I saw something glint in her hand as she passed the flame.
Why are you twitching? Hmm? What's going on? What's going on? Hmm? What's going on? I can't figure it out. Is your arm tight? Yeah. Hmm? Yeah. Just relax. Just relax. I know. Oh boy. Oh boy. Where are you going? Oh, you gonna try and sit up now?
Then where will I go, ma'am? I asked.
Hmm?
North, free. Her hand tightened on my arm. We will stay here, where I know you're safe. Safe. The word tasted strange, like roadman. Sweet,
Hmm?
then heavy. I saw now the outline of the plan.
Oh.
Removed from the hand's eyes, but not from her lips. The sleigh turned into a ghost.
I know.
No longer on the ledges, but still in her house.
No.
To the
I don't even know where I am.
Trader had stopped to collect.
Come here.
We had signed the bill. That is all that
Oh,
concerned me.
man.
They grumbled. But death and paperwork had exhausted
Come on.
everyone. People drifted away, speaking of wakes and
Yeah.
birds. That night, instead of being loaded onto a wagon, I was taken around the back of the house, through a side door, and into a narrow windowed hallway I had never seen. It led to a row of rooms above the old nursery, long unused. The walls smelled of mildew and lavender oil. Aurelia unlocked one of the doors and whispered me inside. This is where you'll stay,
What?
for a time.
Yeah.
The room held a
I
bed,
know.
a chair, a small table, a jug and basin. The shutters were closed and nailed. A single narrow window near the ceiling admitted a strip of sky the color of iron. Mom, I said carefully, how long is the time? Until
What
it's
you
safe,
thinking?
she replied. Until
Huh?
things settle. People will be watching the road for you. Listen to the
Oh,
news.
what's going on with this hand?
If they think you've gone, they will stop. She closed the door.
Hmm.
The key turned in the lock with a sound that settled into my bones. first days blurred together. Food came on a tray 3 times a day, carried by a housemaid who would not meet my eyes. At night, I heard footsteps in the hall and the faint distant cries of babies in the quarter. The funeral passed below me, a river of black coats and veils. I listened to the pastor speak of God's mysterious will and the community's loss. I wanted to laugh. On the 4th night, Aurelia came.
Why you do that? Doctor wants to know what it is.
Opened, and she stepped in with a lamp that painted her face in warm gold and deep shadow. She looked older than she had a month before. Her hair was pinned too
Is
tight,
it over now?
her eyes rimmed red. I brought
Is it
you
over
some
now?
food, she said, holding up a book
There it is again.
and paper and ink.
I don't know.
I looked at the items without taking them.
I don't know.
You mean I need to stay in here and read?
Yeah.
Think I'm dead or gone?
Oh, you're fine.
You are gone,
You're
as
fine.
far as the world is concerned.
You're
What does that make me
fine.
for you, Mom? I asked.
You're fine.
A secret?
Yeah.
Penance?
Mm.
She flinched. You are under my protection. Protection that comes with bars, looks a lot like a cage. You prefer the gallows?
Mm.
Her voice sharpened. It is that story
Okay, are you done?
spoken one word different. I had no answer to that.
Is that done?
Except for that we are bound, you and I, by what we have done, by what we
Yeah.
have seen. I cannot bear.
Okay.
Force the words out. I cannot bear to have all of that go away, to have no one who knows. There it was, naked and raw, not just fear or guilt, but need. She needed someone to witness her, to carry the truth of what she had done.
Is it over now?
Second heart beating outside her body.
Yeah.
She needed someone to absolve her or damn her. She could imagine that person beyond reach. What do you think of these nights,
Yeah. It's all over with now? Yeah.
By day, I paced the small room, read whatever she brought, wrote down
Okay.
recipes for pure
That was just a
and
little one.
Thirsty
That was just a little one.
that gnawed at me. By night, Aurelia pulled the lamp, sat in a chair, on the bed, or listened to her talk. She talked of her girls
Okay,
in
we're
town,
done.
of dances,
Now we're done?
dresses, and suitors.
Yeah, I think so.
Of the first time she saw how
Oh, I think so.
and thought it looked like a palace.
Yeah.
Of the first time
We're
she
done
saw
now.
a slave auction.
Whatever that is over now.
The palace had a dungeon.
Yeah.
Some
Never does last long.
wept and apologized
No.
to me to
Are you
dine
done?
to the baby whose grave had no name at the edge of the woods. Other nights it was cold, almost
Okay.
businesslike, as if reciting a ledger of sin.
Alrighty, yo.
You think God
Alrighty, yo.
kills her husband?
Oh, you're off and running. You're off and running now. Where are you running to?
Of sin
Huh?
and death.
Where are you running to? Where do you want to go to?
Already dead.
All right.
Maybe
Oh, there you go.
maybe
There you go.
to settle. She did not come the next night.
Okay, so I don't know if this camera's going to work or not. It got dropped again. It is what it is. So it is. What is it? Let me just see. Let me see what I'm doing. I want to make sure we're not on Zoom. Okay. Oh. What is it? What is it? What is it? What is it? December 15th of 2025. It's about, oh, I don't know, 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning, 5:30 maybe? 5 o'clock? Maybe 5 o'clock in the morning. And I'm right here. You remember this spot, right? going through a box, my last box for a long time, in terms of organic chia seeds. Now I have some in jars somewhere, but I'm you know, working on Amari's cookbook, and I want it fresh, right? Because, you know, now that I got the basement back, I kind of want to do some things. Well, I still can, sorta. Right, amber jars. So, what I'm going to talk about, I'm going to jar up the comfrey. I don't want it sitting in a plastic bag for any length of time. Now, the comfrey isn't something normally you can eat, because if you eat too much of it, it can affect your, I think it's your kidneys. Yeah, something like that. That or the liver, one or the other or both. And, you know, that could be a problem, right? Although people do sometimes have comfrey tea, it's more used for, this is comfrey root. And this one comes from, where does it come from? Product of, oh my lord, I wish I could see better. Oh, there, the eyes are just going, I can kind of see it, but kind of not. Bulgaria. This comes from Bulgaria. Okay. It's supposed to be organic. Yeah, Bulgaria. So, they call it a bone nettle. It knits bones to get back together. So, if you fracture your bone or something like that, you make a slab, right? And you put it over top. And it helps to heal the bone. That's what it does. But you can't put it over open wounds, because it will help to heal the skin. And if it doesn't heal under the skin, then it can become a problem and it can go septic, right? Because this is a healing agent. And if you heal on the outside of the skin that's been cut before it heals on the inside, you lock everything in and it can't breathe, right? So you can't use it if you have a lot of open, deep wounds, eh? But definitely for bone repair, okay? So, for those ones that have those kind of hands, you know how they, I don't know what it's called. It's rheumatitis or something. Arthritis is, I think, just more achy bones, right? And joints and that kind of thing. Where like a rheumatoiditis is maybe where they start getting, you know how that is, that locks up on them, eh? You can see just right. So for something like that, this would probably be good if you could make a slab. Okay? So I've talked about this before, right? So I am just trying to bide my time here and be productive, eh? Amari had another seizure. That's the title of this video, the first part. Amari had another seizure. Right? I usually talk about that when that happens, so, you know, I'm not going to drop the ball on that one, right? And, I may or may not, oh my god, there's this big gaping freaking hole in my window back here. It's supposed to be getting fixed with the frame, because the frame is all, I'm feeling a freaking wind blowing in here. Oh, fuck. It's cold. Oh, it's so cold. So, anyway, I took a video of him. You know, he'd been twitching, right? I've mentioned it already in my videos. Where, I don't know if it's a body spasm, it's related to body spasms because it seems like it's the body that's doing it, not so much the mind, right? Although it can affect the mind because Amari had a seizure. He had it at 1:30 in the morning on the 14th, so yesterday morning, right? Saturday, no. Today's Sunday. Well, no, today's Monday, Sunday. So Saturday morning. Oh my God. Sunday morning. He had it Sunday morning at 1:30 in the morning. Yeah. Out of nowhere. He was sleeping. And he did the right. Andre heard it first. It was quiet the first time. I heard the second time, and by the time I heard it, just because it went right, you know, Andre went to pick him up and had him in his arms, already on his side. And then, you know, by the time I got to Andre, he was already trying to deal with it. So that's good, you know. But oh boy, he got so nervous, so he really just, yeah. So his breathing went down really, really low. We thought he stopped breathing, everybody. So when I got him, you know, if he's choking, right? The first thing I do is I put him on his side. I just, you know, not too much, right? Just to see if there's something in his mouth, because he, you know, he puts things or grabbing things or whatever, right? And you know, see if there's puke in there or what's going on, right? Because he can't tell you, you know. And oh, just Andre gets me the face cloths because I'm, you know, cold, and wipe him down, and you know, and talk to him and see if he'll communicate with me back, right? And for the most part, he normally does. Okay, he doesn't go into seizure. But for the last few days, you know, he's been needing to go to the washroom, and you know, with the constipation, that's a problem. And he kind of picked up a, you know, kids, they get a sick smell to them sometimes. A few days ago, he was just kind of like under the weather. He didn't have a cold or anything, but he was definitely under the weather. Probably because, you know, he's been struggling with the washroom. Like, he's been a little bit, but not as much as he needs, right, to go to the poo, right? So, okay. And, you know, he did interact with me for a little bit, but he was, whatever was going on, definitely was going into seizure mode. And, you know, Andre was watching and whatever, and he goes, yeah, Nana, you know, he's not, you know, responding like he normally would if he wasn't going into seizure mode. I don't know how else to say it, right? So, of course, you know, called Uncle Marcaine and called 911, and then he got into a really low, like, you couldn't even tell if he was breathing. Oh, I hate those ones. They're awful. So Marcaine's on the front step. Now, this is something else I want to say. Whoever stalks my house and broke my front light, seriously, all right? I do believe they're watching my videos, okay? Unless it's some random 13-year-old kid that is stalking Andre. Remember when the social worker, I don't know, I think I said, I already did mention it, social worker called me up and said Andre was picking on a 13-year-old boy, do this, that, and everything. And no, it's the other way around. This kid is threatening Andre on some computer game that Andre was off for over a year, just got back on, and this kid just happens to be signed on, right? He's blocked him everywhere else, eh? But, he, you know, the kid was there, right? Because Andre just got his account back. And Roblox or something like that. And that kid started threatening that if I ever see you, I'm gonna beat you up, blah, blah, blah. So, I had to block him and shit, right? I said, you need to take a screenshot of that crap because, you know, right? Maybe it was that kid that came to my front door and broke my sensor on my outside front step light, because it won't work now, right? And it hasn't been working for a couple of months, eh? And I've asked my landlady, to get it repaired. So when we start working in the basement, they're going to have to repair it, because when the ambulance came, we're all sitting on the dark on the front porch, right? Like on the front step. Right? And, I'm apologizing because there's no freaking light. Well, whoever is stalking my house, well, there you go. You put Amari's life in jeopardy, literally. A little boy that never did anything to you, not to mention the people that come to help him, like the paramedics and stuff, eh? Because everybody bumbling around in the frickin' dark. Or maybe it's Tamika Dixon Johnson, right? Still stalking my house when she's in town. I'm just saying, there you go. Don't ever convince yourself that you're there for Amari, because you're not. Especially when you're stalking my house after all these years, one way or another. Stalking me on, what is that called? TikTok. Leaving stupid comments on my, 3 little videos I got on there. Go away. Seriously, just go away. Nobody's got time for you. So, okay. So the ambulance comes, right? And, he goes to the ambulance. It's like the people next door, they get their shit. 8 cop cars in a row, and I get, on my side, I get my shit. 3 ambulances, fire truck, please, on my side. So, cause, I touch base with them, and they say, "Oh, what happened? Your grandson okay?" I said, "Yeah, he's okay now. He's home, right?" Because they see on my side of the street, I get the ambulance, the fire department, and once in a while, police will come in because of the emergency 911 with the seizures, right? So, yeah, I just find that odd, right? You never know from one week to the next what's going to happen on this street. Well, these workers, I don't know, they got one big pile of something over there all covered up with, I think it's a big pile of rocks, gravel rocks, with, plastic over it, and then another pile where they had to bust up the road again because they put a manhole in there, and I don't know, there was problems, and after they did the pipe outside my yard, and then they redug up the asphalt that they had just laid down, and I don't know, I got this big pile of asphalt in front of my yard, and like it's just stupid. But besides that point, so yeah, we go to the hospital, and they gave him that medication. They gave him that medication that is where if he wasn't allergic to it, the next time he has a seizure, we can keep him at home and monitor him. And if his lips turn blue and his tongue turns blue, that's when you call 911. Like, seriously, it just stresses me out thinking about it, because this last seizure, he acted like he wasn't breathing, and even my son was doing a little bit of CPR on the front steps in the dark because I had no light, because somebody broke my my light fixture by breaking off the sensor so they can creep my front door for whatever reason. So maybe it is that 13-year-old boy, because clearly there's something wrong with that kid, right? Can't leave Andre alone for whatever sick reason. Yeah, So anyway, the next time Amari has a seizure, we give him that medication, which is in liquid form, and I mean, obviously I told that to the ambulance people, right? And I told them I was a little nervous about it because of, you know, this last time he wasn't really breathing that much. And they just basically said, that, no matter what the circumstances are, if I feel that uncomfortable with him having the seizure and I feel like I need to call 911, I do it. And I'm like, oh, thank you. I needed to hear that, because on the other hand, I'm also being told that because we've gone through, Andre and I, basically, and I suppose, you know, whoever, like Tisha and Marcane, but mainly it's Andre and I, right, that are there first. Well, we are there first, right? Tisha has yet to have to intervene with Amari having a seizure. Same thing with Marcane, where Andre and I, we intervene as soon as it starts, as soon as we're aware, as soon as we come into contact with it, right? We're the first ones, the front line, right? And oh, what was I saying? So the point is, because we've dealt with it so many times, and also too just what goes on at the hospital, right? In terms of he has the seizure. Oh God, this battery doesn't last very long. He has the seizure. You call 911. You go to the hospital. You could be at the hospital anywhere from 4 to over 24 hours, depending on what they're going to do with him, right? Or depending on how much medication they give him between the different people, whether it's me, the paramedics, the doctors. And by the time all that's all said and done, it might be a medication that makes him sleep for 10, 12 hours, where, you know, whatever. Okay, so what I'm trying to say is, because I've been at the hospital so many times over the years, I should be able to deal with the seizure at home, simply because I kind of know what to look for. And in some ways, I'm okay with it, because if he was at home, he wouldn't have gotten an x-ray for his chest when he went to the hospital, obviously, because he went even though there was no puke where he was, right? You know, they still want to do the chest x-ray to make sure he didn't breathe it in and drown with it. Right? You know, because you can get infections, and depending on how much you breathe into your lungs, you can actually drown, right? And so anyway, whereas if he was at home, he wouldn't have gotten that x-ray, which would have made me feel better, because he's so tiny. I don't like him having all these x-rays. And when he was on that hip surveillance program, you know, they were wanting them every 6 months, sometimes 2 at a time, because the first one didn't work and they needed to redo it again. And then you go to the hospital and then he's on his 3rd one, and you know, it was unnecessary. It put him at risk, to my opinion, to unnecessary radiation, right? And it does. These x-rays, sometimes they cook him, they heat him up. After an x-ray, he gets fevers. So, you know. So anyway, I'm thinking about it, right? I mean, ultimately, I heard it from the paramedic, where he said, if you feel that uncomfortable with quote-unquote monitoring him yourself, look, I still do it. Do you see how everything is way over here? Nothing is lined up in the middle. Not really. Look at the very end. Anyway, you know. Oh my God. I can call the 911 if it gets that scary. Outside of that, you know, it makes sense to monitor them at home once you get to this point with them and you've been doing it enough times to understand the logistics around it. But it makes me think about that dream where Amari drowned and apparently died. Right? I was talking to Tisha about that, you know, at the hospital. When we were at the hospital, we were, you know, just catching up on stuff, and we were, you know, I told her I had another dream. You know, she asked me what it was. She said, "Oh, that's scary, Mom, because your dreams tend to come true. Look what happened to Shimei." And I'm like, "Yeah, I know." The difference between Shimei and Amari was, though, Amari, and from what I can remember, I suppose, is he didn't look gray, where Shimei looked dead, like really gray. Amari was dead in a different kind of way in that dream that I had, where he died by drowning, even though I don't think he was in a bathtub. I'm pretty sure I told my grandson I don't think he was in a bathtub. But because I mentioned the word bathtub, Andre thinks I said he was in a bathtub. No, he was not, because he was not in water. There's no way he could be in a bathtub. But I could see him having a seizure, honest to God, and then backdrafting on fluid, and then getting it in his lungs, and then, you know, drowning that way, because you know how people go to swimming pools, especially kids. You know, they go to swimming pools and for whatever reason they end up breathing in fluid, like the pool water, into their lungs, and they don't necessarily say anything about it because to them it seems to be too much or whatever. And then they end up drowning in their sleep because their lungs fill up with a whole lot of fluid. That is a possibility. That is something that could happen with Amari. And now that I'm going to be monitoring more seizures, I wouldn't say all of them, but definitely more seizures at home, assuming that he continues to have them, to which at this point it appears that way more regularly. Now it's been 6 months since he had one, but he's with this other thing that's been going on with him, which I'm talking to the neurologist about, and he wanted me to take a little video, to which I did, and I may include that video into this video as for educational purposes, so that you can see for yourself what I'm talking about. And if you ever come into contact with anybody that has seizures and you see a similar kind of thing, what's going on, you will, in your mind, you'll remember just by what you see with my videos that you write, because you know when it happens you don't know what it is. And when you try and talk to you know, a neurologist or a doctor about it, I mean, they want to see, right? So that they have a better idea of what they're dealing with. You know, it's more than body spasms, because, or the body spasms create the fear, with the fear factor sparking the brain to go into seizure, just like if he's constipated. And it's not like he can push it out like we do, it's more like his body pushes it out. And if it's, you know, difficult to push out, right, you know, it can be a little painful. And in his mind, you know, he doesn't understand what it is, he just knows that he's feeling it. And if the body is trying to push it out, which is that's what happens, right? It's not him in his mind wanting to do it. You know, he tries when that time comes, but even then, you know, it can spark a seizure. It really can, right? And now I'm like, okay, so we know he's not allergic to that sedation. It's a form of sedation. It comes in a liquid form, you suck it up with a syringe like a needle, and then you take off the needle and you just squirt it into the back of the, way back here, okay? Just squirting it. And you do it within 4 or 5 minutes after the seizure starts. And then you yourself monitor him. That's kind of scary. It's scary, especially when it looks like they're not breathing. Right? But the point of that medication is so that they wake up sooner. The other medication can knock them out for a long time. Yeah. So, anyway. So that's what's happening there. Right? I don't want to sit on this floor. This is, I was very interested to try this. See? It says black bean dried flakes instant. Now I know there's salt in here and it's made in the USA. Black beans are very, very, very nutritional, by the way. Yeah, the more I read up on these things, and they're a superfood. Now, you can't eat these kind of beans uncooked, especially in large quantities. Taking a little bite, like I just did, I don't taste a lot of salt, so definitely not salty. Although I know there's salt in it, because when I read the ingredients, it said salt. I wanted to see for myself, just for convenience purposes, because something like this I could sprinkle into Amari's food as I'm cooking it. Right? That's basically what I bought it for. And because I do have grinders, I mean, it's not like I probably couldn't eventually make my own, but you'd probably have to, you'd have to pre-cook it, and then, I don't know, grind it up. I don't know how they make it. Either or, it doesn't matter. I bought some to try it out. Right? If I like it, I'll get more. If I can make my own, you can make black bean powder. That's possible. But there's a process to it, because you kind of have to, roast the beans at some point to bring them to that temperature to kill off the toxins within the bean itself, right? Like a kidney bean, you have to kill off the toxins. And the only way you can do that is by cooking them to a certain temperature for about 10 minutes. And then after that, you can process them however you want. Right? So, yeah. Maybe I should go plug this in now. I don't know. I'm trying not to be stressed out here. I'm trying to stay positive, right? Yeah. I'm not happy with my eyes. That's another thing. That doctor situation with me, I don't know if I mentioned it in my live stream or not, but I'm mentioning it now. I phoned up my eye doctor, yada-de-yada, told him what, the receptionist, what the hell was going on. And she called me back and basically just told me, I don't have to worry about it. Just go to the hospital and do what you gotta do, right? So I did. I canceled that appointment with the doctor. Kind of told the receptionist at that place what was kind of going on. She said, I'm going to talk to management. I said, no, God, no, don't talk to management, because then he won't really want to see me no more. And I can't afford to lose a family doctor over this stupid shit. Right? You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not doing what he wants me to do, even though it's just a recommendation. So, I don't know what's going to happen there in terms of whether he'll remain my family doctor or not. I won't know until I phone and make another appointment, but that ain't anytime soon, because I'm not about rocking no boats right now. I'm more interested in just getting on with things, you know. I got a lot of things I have to do ahead of me, right? In terms of setting up some structure where you know. So I'm talking to him, networking with people right now, trying to see who wants to do a little bit of sewing for piecework kind of wise. Talked about, you know, non-profit stuff basically, right? Or, you know, what's the best way of alleviating, dismantling my life in a nice kind of way, right? So we'll see what happens there. Okay, so this is that. And then there's just a little bit left. So I will use this over the next few days. Try it out a tablespoon at a time. We'll see. But it's just something I wanted to try. What else is in this box? Oh yeah, these are Caco nibs. I thought I'd try that too. This is supposed to be the best for you when it comes to chocolates, although it's slightly bitter. I don't know. I have the powder, but I don't have them in the nibs, so I thought I'd try them in the nibs. And of course, you know what you're doing is you're getting the zincs and the coppers, and I'm pretty sure those kind of things. So let's see. Oh, you can smell it, that's for sure. Honestly, it doesn't really have that much taste. It's not what I expected. It's very mild. It tastes like a chocolate that's not condensed, if that makes sense. Like if you buy a baker's chocolate in a block and you take a bite out of it, you definitely, you know, that's unsweetened, right? You definitely can taste the chocolate, where this is not compact. It's not condensed. So it tastes different. I don't know what this is. What is it? So it breathes, do you think? Do you think that's what that's there for? So that it breathes? What do you think? I've never felt that before. Let's see. Yeah. Where's my finger? Yeah, look. So, I guess it was meant to release air. I wonder what's going to happen with it being in a jar. So in a situation like this, what you want to do is you want to Google it to find out what's the best way to store it. I'd say 99% of the time, it's in a jar with a tight sealed lid in a cold, dark place. But in light of what I just found, I don't know. Anyway, so hold on. Radio. What's the date today?
It's still the
15th? No, December 15th, 2025. Now we got dogs.
and a person named Rylee.
And a person named Rylee. Who's Rylee?
You know Rylee, don't you? Rylee?
Well, it's not my Rylee.
Sure.
Here, just take this.
It's like get call Rylee. There's someone else now too.
Who's that?
Yeah, there's someone else. There's Danny sprawl on the ground.
Well, where are they coming from? Over there?
Yeah.
Is it that house now? Different house?
No.
Are they coming out of a car?
There's a black SUV. There's a black Explorer over there. With tinted windows.
It's not them. That's not James' house. No, it's over here. It's a different neighbor.
Or else there's this house and they were just walking.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, one. Oh, that's federal too.
Huh?
It's federal. They're all federal.
What do you mean they're all federal?
Except for that one. That one's a cop. But there's one. There's like one undercover and then two federal.
What is it with federal? What the heck is going on that we've got federal all the time these days? Oh, I can't see. Here.
Alright. My hands are freezing. No, there was people walking. There's a group of cops now walking up here with AR-15s. Told everyone to go inside, but they didn't see me.